Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Pick and Roll, your NBA betting show here on the Board YouTube channel, which is the NBA content division, of course, of the Hammer Betting Network. And we're excited to bring you two picks for today's show, two picks involved, and we've had lines that are moving quickly, so we want to get them to you right away. But before we start, we want to remind you guys to smash that like button. The support has been unbelievable on the channel in the last few weeks. The last week or so, we've had an amazing run, 13-2 on the free picks here. So we're excited to bring you some more. Let's hope we can do it today with these two bets, but we need you to support and smash that like button. All right, let's go to the first play. This one has been moving up and down all day, so we want to get this one in. Let's just confirm the prices are available. First one is good. Second one is low, also good. Okay, here we go. First play. Mavericks, Wizards, Luka Doncic, and Kyle Kuzma we have on this minus 120 SGP at FanDuel. Doncic, 25 plus points. Kuzma, 20 plus points. Again, minus 120 odds at FanDuel. Second play, Knicks at Hawks. Moving quickly because these are both moving. SGP, minus 120 at BetMGM. Also DK in your area, but MGM for sure. Randall, three-legged same-game parlay, 18 plus points, over 7.5 rebounds, over 2.5 assists. Again, minus 120 odds over there. So two plays involved. I'll run them up on the screen as well after this because we went a little bit quickly there. But Pips, talk to us about this Doncic and Kuzma play. Why do you like both these players on the over?
This is like one of the highest total games we saw so far this season. It's at 246 points. Neither of these teams are playing defense, and good spot to take Luka at this line because single coverage against Luka and drop coverage, he should easily go over this line. I will actually go straight for Luka points, but he had some struggles in back-to-back games, so I'm running this same game parlay on a bit lower lines. And Kuzma, I think you can say a lot about Kuzma. Looking at the last game, scoring 34 points against much better defense of Toronto Raptors. So far this season, he's just smashing these lines. Like he played 10 games, 21 or more points in 8 games. Game before Raptors, he had 15 points, but struggled with shooting. Shot 4 from 16. Huge regression against the Raptors, so I just think easy matchup against the Dallas Mavericks. Every wing, high usage wing, scored a ton of points against them. And yeah, just playing Kyrie and Luka together, and defense won't be great, and pace will be very high. Jordan Poole is somehow terrible, not doing anything, not even scoring on low efficiency. He doesn't do anything. So Kuzma, green light on offense, easily shooting almost 20. Against the Raptors, he shot 25 times in a game. So I just think
he did not see a shot he didn't like.
Yeah, that kind of volume, 20 plus, at this very fast pace, very I just think this is a smash spot for both of these guys, and the volume will be just too high against poor defense to not cover this.
Absolutely. All right, we'll go to the second play here. This is the one that we got in at BetMGM. It involves Julius Randle. So we had our big SGP on Monday, which also had all three of these lines. Again, we had the over on Randle, points, assists, and rebounds. We also had the other side of the side. Today, you're going back to Julius Randle, but only involving him in this same game parlay. Talk to us about why you like Randle once again to go over on all these lines.
So I watched that game because I'm a fan of Hawks. So I watched that game, and I remember that Mitchell Robinson was battling heavily against the boxing out Capella. So Julius Randle had easy rebounds. He had 12 rebounds in that game. And I just think this is the perfect matchup for him to get rebounds. DeJounte Murray and Trae Young will shoot a ton of mid-range, pull Mitchell Robinson a bit out to contest, or he is even contesting the mid-range or boxing out Capella, so Randle will get the rebounds. In that game, Julius Randle had 9 assists. Hawks are a bit overreacting on his post-ups, so he had a lot of kickouts and easy transition. Like he will get the rebound and run transition against the Hawks who struggle to defend transition. So he should have like a couple of easy assists in there. So far this season, he's crushing this assist line. So I just think that will continue. He had 5 assists in last 3 straight games, 9 against the Hawks. Always like he's always performing great against the Hawks. A bit motivation playing against them before because of the last couple of seasons in the playoffs. So this is just a great spot. And also he scored 23 or more points in 4 straight games. Like regression is happening. First game of so in the game against the Hawks, he scored 17 points, and that was second game of the season when he was still being terrible on offense. And he much improved now, looking much better in conditioning wise. And yeah, I just think like this is a great spot for all around great game for Julius Randle, and every segment of this bet makes total sense.
Yes. Let's go. Well, first of all, there's a comment I want to answer here. There's been some questions about a new sports book called ESPN Bet. I don't have access to ESPN Bet in my area. However, I can confirm that ESPN Bet alt lines, until they took them away, which I didn't know, were very much beatable, very poorly priced. So if ESPN Bet does return, the sort of plays that we make on that Pips Mix and this shows, these same game parlays, alternate lines, there are definitely areas of weakness on ESPN Bet's board over there. And the fact that they shut it down so quickly would indicate that, yes, there was some errors there. So if it does come back up, that is something that I think you guys should definitely explore. Let's go to the recap of yesterday's bets. There was a big discussion before we went live here about the play that did lose. It was LaMelo Ball, unfortunately, that did kill us here. Yeah, it looked like it could win despite the fact that Hayward was out and Miller was out. So we had like your handicap yesterday, Pips, was that he's going to shoot a ton. He's just not going to be efficient. Well, he was very inefficient, except he shot so much more because no Hayward, no Miller here. Yet it took him 2 late free throws to go over this. He had 28 points. Bam Adebayo covered, so that was the only loss. Jokic was fine, Embiid was fine. But yeah, talk to us about LaMelo Ball's performance against the Heat.
I mean, like he had 24 with a minute left, so I expected, okay, like we could win this. And then he scored a layup, and then he fouled, made both free throws, and we lost. Like nothing to do there. Like so, my thought process in that spot was like, okay, Hayward and Miller are out. This will be a blowout. LaMelo won't play like last 5 minutes of the game. And if that actually happened, we would win like easily. But like Hayward and Miller out, and then it's a like 1 possession game late into the game. I fucking hate Miami Heat for that shit. Like they. Also, a couple of days ago, we had PJ points and LaMelo assists. This time they work like a charm. Like I didn't think PJ missed any shots out of LaMelo Ball assist. Like there was like when the game started, like 1 minute stretch where PJ scored 3 straight threes on all 3 LaMelo Ball assists, which was crazy, considering he was 0 from 5 when we needed 1. So yeah, like variance hit us hard in this one twice.
Yeah, that was could have been another sweep day. We sound disappointed here. It was a winning day after all. Jokic does cover. Jokic, you were messaging me at halftime that he wasn't even playing well, but just comfortably hit these lines, no problem. Clippers continue to sink. Why don't you go through Jokic's performance and why, even though he didn't play so well, he was able to easily cover?
I mean, Clippers are doing all kinds of shit, like trying to leave him one-on-one against Zubats. He kind of looked good because Jokic just missed a couple of easy shots. Then they went small. Jokic destroyed them on both sides of the court, especially on offense. He just hit every right pass and every fancy rebound and layup threes. Like he did it. Like he was just easily jogging on the court and like making winning plays all the time and covered so easily all the lines at the end. So it's crazy. Like great game. But most people bet triple double. We went with this same game parlay and we won. And he had 9 assists in that game. So once again, SGP is looking great.
Absolutely. Yeah, second straight day where the using these alt lines was better than going with a straight bet somewhere else. As the same for the Scotty Barnes one the other day. Final one to recap is Joel Embiid over 32.5, ends on 39. Had 31 near the end of the third quarter. I thought we'd have a third quarter cash, but it was a close game. I talked about how the Pacers, even though they won, they love these high scoring games. 158 points in this one. What about Embiid's matchup here?
Same thing as in the first game. I will honestly take a couple of seconds to talk about Tyrese Halliburton. Like
So
this, yeah, like this is like 58. So throughout the 2 games against the 76ers, 58 points, 10 threes, 32 assists, and 0 turnovers. Like
that's
and he
absurd.
won.
Absurd.
And he won. Yeah.
And they won against
And they won.
like a team that like only won. They've only lost to the Celtics this season.
And it was like
the Bucks. The
Bucks. First quarter, Miles Turner in foul trouble, Jalen Smith in foul trouble, Jackson in foul trouble. Like all had 2 and 3 fouls. So he was playing basically without big against Embiid and still ended up winning. So his pull-up threes, like from 30 plus feet, are just crazy, especially with his shooting form, and it's going in every single time. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, Halliburton. I mean, he's all NBA level right now. He's definitely going to be an all-star again at this rate. I don't think the record didn't matter last year, although the Pacers have looked good this year as well.
As his fantasy owner, I'm like very nice.
I'm going to reiterate my stance once again, just because we're talking about Halliburton, that the Kings-Pacers trade was not a win-win. Stop calling it a win-win. Evidently, obviously, the Pacers won that trade. Look, I get it. The Kings had fun last year. They were third seed and all. But no, this guy is way too good to say that this is a win-win trade. It's like the Luka and Trae Young trade. That is not there is a clear gulf in class between those two players. And I think this one fits into that as well. That could certainly be a hot take, though. Let's talk about the man on the thumbnail. We'll talk about it quickly. You and me texted about it yesterday, but Zach LaVine is available for trade. We talked about it. I want to hear who you think is the best destination for him fit-wise from the team's perspective and for Zach LaVine to do well.
So we talked about it, and I said, like, I would love Magic, Orlando Magic. I mean, like, fit-wise, they have struggles because they don't have a shooting. Like, they have good backcourt, like Fultz, Suggs, and Cole Anthony, but they are all non-shooters, and they need some shooting around, and they need some, like, Zach LaVine there will be, like, amazing next to Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. They do have some assets to give them. They have some young players to give them, so makes sense. And the second one will be Thunders, OKC, just because they have so many assets that they can easily get LaVine, and they have so many assets that they won't use in the future. So it will be amazing to see SGA, LaVine, Dort, Jalen Williams, and Chet. That will be just amazing team, and like in 1 or 2 seasons, they will be contenders for sure. And they still have some assets to just throw around.
OKC have the defense to hide LaVine's deficiencies. Orlando, as much as they have guards, it'll actually help the guards having a floor spacer beside them. And I think it will make Cole Anthony's life a lot easier and Jalen Suggs' life a lot easier. I really like both of those fits. One other team that has been discussed is the 76ers. They obviously have the picks from the Clippers trade. They don't see the early report indicates that the Sixers aren't too interested in Zach LaVine. What do you think of that fit there?
I don't know. Like I like how Sixers are doing currently.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin any Maxi. I don't want to take away the ball from Tyrese Maxi and give it to
Yeah.
Zach LaVine. And also defense with Maxi and LaVine, and I don't know who will be the fourth guy. Won't be that good. I mean, like it worked with James Harden to some degree. Zach LaVine is worse player than James Harden, so far they are looking great. Harris in an improved, like a bit higher role. They lost Ubre. That could be the trigger, but
Yeah.
I hope they don't go for Zach LaVine.
LaVine doesn't scream a Nick Nurse player for me. It's like when
Yeah.
guys are linked to the Knicks who are good. I'm like, do you actually think Tom Thibodeau wants this guy? Like, does Nick Nurse really want Zach LaVine as one of his as a defensive piece on his team? Probably not. And you're right. It takes a lot away from Tyrese Maxey, and they like their depth right now. That trade has really worked out for them. And again, opportunity to improve. Maybe not necessarily with this one being that opportunity. All right. That's enough for today. Let's give you the recap of today's bets. 2 picks for you guys today. Once again, I want to remind you guys to smash that like button. We've had amazing support on the channel. It's been a 13-2 run. So if you've been cashing along with these picks, smash that like button. If you're listening in audio form, take a second to rate and review 5 stars and to keep up to date with all of our content. Remember to subscribe to the channel. All right, here is the first play today. It's in the Mavericks-Wizards game. We're going with Doncic, 25+ points. Kuzma, 20+ points, -120 odds at FanDuel. Second play was Knicks and Hawks game, bit of a rivalry brewing. And we have Julius Randle, 18+ points, over 7.5 rebounds, over 2.5 assists, -120 odds at BetMGM. So these sort of SGP lines sometimes are better than the PRA line. So stick to these sort of bets. Remember, guys, to smash that like button before you go. And me and Pips, we'll be back tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time for more from Pick and Roll. And we'll also have myself and Kirk Evans on the channel tomorrow. So make sure you do not miss out.